What's up, Kabroda crew? Welcome in. Hopefully y'all are doing well today. We're back in it for another live stream, checking the charts out and seeing what's going on. But yeah, hopefully y'all had a good weekend and are ready to jump back in. We had a little bit of sideways price action yesterday, so nothing too exciting coming into this morning. Honestly, we'll have to kind of see what's going on, see what happens. But as of right now, yeah, we're in a little bit of sideways price action. We'll have to check it out and see what the more macro trend is looking at and see what we can kind of get ourselves into here. But yeah, looks like we have a couple people in here. So welcome in Terry, welcome in Kathleen. Thanks for joining the live stream. Hopefully y'all are doing well and are looking to get some charting on. So yeah, we'll check it out. It's looking pretty similar to yesterday in terms of the trades and all of that. So we'll have to check that out. But yeah, we'll check that out. So these are yesterday's levels. And just by the way, we haven't updated them yet. So. And this is actually yesterday's trades here sitting on my chart. So we're still waiting for this one to play out in terms of getting down here. We did close below yesterday. It's looking like it's going to continue. So we're just kind of waiting around in it. I'm actually thinking that today's trade will be pretty similar to this, if not even almost the same. The levels might be slightly different. So we'll kind of check it out and see what's going on. But yeah. We'll check it out. So let's check out the market radar first, and then we'll kind of go into why maybe the market radar is more like this. So going over here, we have a grade A setup here on BTC today. We're looking at grade A for that one. ETH and Solana are actually trying to go up lately for whatever reason. So we don't have any setups on them. The macro trends right now is a downtrend, which is something we'll look at here in a little bit. But BTC is definitely following that downtrend here on the micro trend or the smaller trend. So we got a grade A setup here today. If we open that up, you can see pretty close to the same thing as we had yesterday. Looking for some downwards targets, and we got a little bit of a short happening. Obviously it's not past 8:45, but this is definitely the trade of today. So we'll grab that. We'll grab the triggers here and we'll throw them on our chart to see what's going on. Open up this, we'll switch it out for Tuesday, and we'll throw in our new levels. All right, so these are today's levels. So you got a breakup up here, you got a breakdown right here. We're kind of making a pretty decent up run here on a 30-minute candle. Just kind of, sideways price action mostly, pretty much all night. So really just continuation of that sideways price action. We'll see what happens with this 8:30, 8:45 candle. It's always interesting to see, do we go down, do we go up, are we sideways, what's happening. 30-minute candle really kind of just determines what's going to go on with the day. That's why we typically won't trade until after it's happened. And obviously you don't have a trade yet if you're looking at this today. As in terms of yesterday's trade, you definitely got it. After the 8:45, it just hasn't really ran down. We're still expecting it to run down, like I said. Obviously, we're not 100% like the best traders ever or the best. Nobody's going to be able to call the market 100%. So we're looking for that down move. It's definitely been a tough to call market lately. You've had a lot of weird signals. We'll have things saying we should go down when we go up, and then we'll have things saying that we need to go up and we're going down. So just kind of all over. A lot of the indicators we use and stuff like that are actually calling for an up move right now. But looking at more of the macro trend, we're actually in a downtrend. So it's just kind of interesting. We're thinking maybe we're at the end of the downtrend run. Not not necessarily we're at the bottom, but like we're getting near the end. Like this was maybe the last larger term downtrend run before we start to break back up to the upside, and maybe go and take out that 120 something thousand level, maybe make it to like 130 plus, something like that. But we do need to get that breakdown first and kind of continue down, close down here, and get the end of our fifth run on the longer time frames. Talking about like what's the fifth run that you keep talking about. Well, the fifth run in Spear Maker's kind of been diving more into this, but the idea is you have your I forget what they're called. I think it's this one, the Elliott wave. So you have your, I forget where he starts it, but basically you have your different runs. Whoops, I did that wrong. So you have your like down run here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this would be 5, and you'd go down. And if you look at the run from 1 and you trade that down, it was, I think it was at 50 something thousand that we were looking at price action to continue down to. So there's a possibility we could see a little bit more, definitely a possibility we could see more of a down run. I think if we draw it out and take that flag down, yeah, essentially you're looking at the 56,000 level. So decent amount of drops still that we could go. Typically you have 5 waves and then you flip to the bull side. So that's kind of the idea there. And that's where we're coming from. We've been kind of doing a little more research just on the Elliott wave and stuff like that. Just talking about, you know, we're in a downtrend. How far are we going to go? You know, where are we going? That's kind of the question. Obviously, it's more macro. So, you know, we're talking about trading the 15-minute. We're not going to be, I mean, you know, you're in a macro downtrend. So you're more likely to go down than up. But in terms of, you know, looking at the 15-minute, are we going to be like super stingy, like, oh man, we're only going down, we could just take like super tight trades and just go down? That's not really the case, because, you know, you could get an up run here on the 15-minute. It could run up all day today, and then it could run down all day tomorrow. So it's really not something that you can kind of just trade on the 15-minute off of. It's just more of looking at the macro trend, kind of seeing like, what are we doing? Why has price action been so weird lately? Questions like that. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at, though, is we are in that macro downtrend. Price is kind of starting to run up. Like I said, you know, a lot of the indicators are trying to run up. Just like this is the jewel here that we have on the charts, and you can see on the weekly it's trying to run bullishly. If we go down through the time frames, it's kind of the same thing. I guess daily's running down. But you see 4 hour wants to run up, 1 hour, it's kind of in between. It just kind of all over, though. But yeah, if you look at the weekly, we're running up. So just a lot of like random, you know, mixed signals, I guess. You have some stuff telling up, some stuff saying down, some stuff saying, you know, more sideways. So the question is, well, okay, how far? Maybe not how far, but, you know, like what's happening? Are we in a long trend? Are we in a long bullish trend? Are we in a bearish trend? Are we looking to go down, looking to go up? Like, where are we going? That's kind of the questions we're trying to answer with that TA. That's why we've been looking into that Elliott wave thing. So obviously, you know, that's macro. You know, we were looking at a big time frame, and now we're jumping into the 15 minutes saying, okay, what are we going to take today, or what are we looking at trading today? And, you know, that's where we'd say, you know, the closer thing, obviously, to, or the thing that we're looking at that's closer to what we think is going to happen is that it's going to short. Obviously, that's lines up with the macro trend. It's definitely in favor today, in favor just in general for until we kind of flip trend, until we get down to around that 50,000 mark. And we could not go there too. We could continue up here. We'll see. But that's what that's kind of what we're seeing in the charts. So that's what we've been kind of watching for. That's what we've been looking at. You've probably seen that in a couple of our videos that come out recently. We've been talking about different trends and different things kind of aligning. Really, we're just trying to find the edge on the market, like what's going on, what's happening, why is it harder to trade right now, that kind of question. Because lately it's just been pretty slow. It's been a lot of up, a lot of down. The chart sets up really nicely for a down run, and then it will run up, or it sets really nicely for an up run, then we run down. Structure wise, we've broken a lot on the smaller time frames. Like I know, like last week we were talking about continuing down because we were in a down run, and then we ended up actually flipping, went up, broke the upside where we technically flipped being bullish, and then immediately turned back around and came back down, I think the next day. So price action just kind of all over really, in terms of which way we're gonna go, because like I said, as a trader, you're just trading the probability. You're looking for the edge that's going to give you a little bit higher probability than maybe you had before. So it going up when you think it's going to go down, it's not necessarily like the end of the world or the most uncommon thing ever. It's just you have that happen, and you might be like, all right, well, I guess I didn't get it right, and so I'm looking at it and okay, yeah, now we're flipping to the upside, so we'll probably run up, and that's what kind of happened last week. It's like, all right, we I guess we called it wrong. It looked like he's gonna go down, but it ended up flipping, going up, so I guess we're gonna take the up trades now, or we're gonna look for up trades, and it kind of lined up with the longer term time frames, kind of how they were starting to set up. We were like, all right, I guess we're going long, and then flips the other side, and that's where you're kind of just like, all right, I don't know, like where's this line, like where am I looking for my edge? It's obviously the trend is kind of throwing me off. It's supposed to go up, supposed to go down. We don't know. So we've been trying to look for that. So if you think we've been bouncing around quite a bit lately, that's probably why there. But yeah, mostly, we're trying to figure out how are we going to trade this 15-minute here within the current market status. So definitely, like I said, definitely looking like a short today, but anything could happen, like I just said. So we'll see what goes on today. Definitely looking like a short. But yeah, let's throw the trade on here for today and kind of see what that looks like. I know we have the trade for yesterday on here. I said it'd probably be pretty similar. I would still guess it's close-ish. Definitely going to be a little different. Your entry is going to be down here. Stop could be anywhere from the top of the 30-minute range all the way up to here, depending on some different things within the coding. So we'll see what it says about the trade here. I bet the targets are pretty close to the same. Maybe target 2 will be a little bit lower, more in this area. I actually have old gravity map settings, so we'll have to rethrow those on there, see what they look like today. Maybe it'll be completely different, who knows. So we'll go ahead and grab the trade here. So open up our cockpit, we'll grab our little button down here. You can actually see it's behind me, but we got a copy to HUD button, so we'll go ahead and click that. Head back to the chart, open up our Kabroda indicator here and throw it in, and there we go. So it's actually pretty similar. Target 2 actually moved up quite a bit, and then we have target 3 close to where target 2 was, definitely down a little bit farther, but target 2 moved up. You got target 1 moved up a little bit too, and then obviously the entry and stop are a little bit tighter. So if we're looking to take that today, we're looking at something like this. Obviously we haven't closed that 830 candle, so we're not jumping in. We also haven't gotten a close below the breakdown line, so another reason not to get in. But you took it down to target 2, you got a 1.57. Looking at the trade, that's a grade A, so it should go down there. Technically, grade A, you're taking 30% at target 1 and 70 at target 2 or 3, depending on how you're going to run it out. But, you know, I guess right now in the way the market's kind of playing out lately, I would just be happy with taking a target 2. It's just personal preference. Again, you know, we're just here for educational purposes only, but that's what I'd be looking at. Yeah, just mainly securing a little bit of profit here at target 1 and then taking the 70% at target 2. And when you do take that 30%, you're bringing your stop down to break even. And you could play that a couple different ways. I know some people like to get out here at that 30% level, or take 30% or whatever. And then when they bring their stop down to break even, instead of bringing it down completely to like the entry point, they'll actually bring it down just where they basically just don't lose any money. Because when you pull off a little bit of profits, obviously your break even is going to go from, just because of fees, it'll be a little bit in front of your entry, and then it'll move up actually behind or like underneath your entry, depending on which way you're trading, obviously. But it'll move up a little bit beneath your entry, so you can kind of move your stop down right below that, and then you would, you know, come out of it with nothing, like basically wouldn't have made any money or lost any money, because you kind of made 30% and then you lost like 20% or whatever it is, so you kind of walked away with, you know, I guess technically 10% in that scenario, but you know, with fees and everything, you really walked away with nothing. So yeah, that's kind of how the trade goes though. So that's what we're looking at today. Looking to run it down. Like I said, the chart should continue down, that breakdown, but you know, it's not something that like we're going to take something like this and be like, all right, we're going to 50,000, so we'll just go ahead and, you know, jump in here and just ride it all the way down to 50,000. You know, that'd be such a great trade and blah blah blah. That's great. You know, it sounds great, it looks great on paper, but it's not going to happen. More than likely, you know, the 15 minutes going to spike up, get you out. You know, even right now, we could spike up and hit you out just because of, I don't know, whatever, you know, it's just how the chart plays. The charts are, you know, the charts are the charts. Charts are run by people, so it kind of just happens how it happens. But yeah, we'll just continue to watch price action today, see what happens. But yeah, that macro trend is looking pretty bearish right now, with continuation down. Like I said, you know, we kind of looking at the slopage here. That's pretty close to what we should have done. Really, we kind of should have turned right here. That's what I believe that was when we were talking about it actually continuing down. We ended up breaking out. Now we're coming down, kind of, you know, I guess back on top of the trend line. Overall, you know, I guess you could say it's a little lower, but I don't know. That's a hard concept too. Just still in a downtrend. So there's not really any kind of signs of flipping it. Maybe we're in the first stages of flipping, but that's kind of how it is when, you know, when you kind of do a little bit of a bull run or a flag or whatever you want to call it, up a little bit before you break back down even farther. You always kind of look like, oh, maybe we're going to flip here, maybe we're going to go up, and then you end up breaking down even farther. So definitely looking like we're going to continue down. But yeah, definitely a hard market to trade. So you know, keep your hopes up. If you're having a hard time, it's not you. It's just kind of how the market is right now. A lot of traders are having a tough time. Just, you know, keeping in the game, keeping the trades going. I'm willing to bet a lot of the bigger traders kind of stepping aside, just kind of letting price action play right now. You know, there's always going to be somebody making money, but it's just tough right now. You know, there's people that have some pretty dialed in systems are having a tough time keeping them. I know people we follow are A lot of their systems that have kind of been running for a while are having a hard time right now with just how they're playing out. And I'm sure you guys are like, oh man, yeah, well, you guys just have a system that's not doing good, so that's why you'd say that. And yeah, I mean, I guess you'd say that, but just go look around, go check out some other people. You'll kind of see the same thing around the space. It's just really what's happening. And I mean, I'm not going to say everybody's like that. I'm sure there's some people that are doing pretty well, maybe even just outperforming everybody else, but it's just kind of the market is. Most systems, aren't built for this kind of market, and it's tough to build for this kind of market because there's just well, one, it doesn't seem to happen that often, and then two, it's just, I don't know, there's just a lot of weird stuff happening right now with indicators and all of that. I mean, a lot of the indicators we watch and use are just kind of hard to use right now. I mean, like I showed you earlier, they're saying up and the chart's trying to go down, or they're saying down, the chart's trying to go up. Even between time frames, there's a lot of mixed signals with the indicators. It's not like the indicators problem, they're just kind of showing you the data behind the chart, but yeah, it just makes it hard to read. Like, how do you know what's happening? If it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Just tough to look at, tough to actually kind of tell what's going on. But yeah, we'll continue to, like I said, a good time to kind of, catch up on your learning, kind of read into some new stuff, check out some new ideas. I guess really kind of sit back. It's just a tough time to trade, guys. So nobody would blame you from just kind of hanging back, watching the trades. It's always good to stay on top of it, jump back in, check out the charts, maybe do some paper trade and stuff like that. But nobody would blame you for putting your money on the side and kind of hanging out for a little bit, just because it's a tough time to trade. And I know everybody wants to grow their accounts, make some money, bring it in, but it's a tough time to do that. So yeah, I mean, it might even be considered smarter or wiser even to pull your money to the side right now, just how the market's kind of playing out. So we'll see. That could always change tomorrow, or that could always change even I don't know, that could change in 5 minutes. So it's definitely a good time to kind of watch and see what's happening. Maybe just kind of be ready to get in, but also just enjoy the time that you have of just kind of hanging out and watching. So yeah, we'll see where the market kind of takes us, see how the TA kind of plays out. Like I said, it's been kind of random lately. Like, we had a pretty good setup yesterday in terms of how our system sets up and everything. We had a pretty good setup yesterday, and we kind of started to break down, and then we just ran sideways. So yeah, it does make it tough, and if you are trading, you just got to kind of stick with it, because like last week we had I think it was last week we had like that. Last week was up here somewhere. We had like basically we were running sideways, and we looked like we were about to break down. We took the down trade, actually ripped up, and then basically we were like, oh man. And then the next day it gave another down trade, and this time that we were like, and it was kind of like what I was saying, with all the downtrend or the trend stuff that we've been kind of looking at, you're kind of like, well, now we're in an uptrend technically. But some of it too is just like it said, the system called a downtrend, you don't take it, and then it rips down, and that's when the price moves. So you just gotta kind of stick with it, stick to your guns, keep going. Sometimes you'll get a good trade, sometimes you won't. And like I said, it's not a bad thing to just kind of sit on your hands and kind of watch price action play out, see what happens, see when you can actually get in, because it could just be a minute before the chart actually gets in a point where you know, systems are starting to fire, people are starting to, you know, make money again, stuff's starting to happen again, that would be kind of more what's happening. So yeah, I don't know. We will definitely have to watch this though and see what happens, because I don't know, to me it looks like, well, you know, it looks like we're ready to go down. I mean, with everything kind of set up, but I also kind of just have this feeling, you know, in the back of my head, just like we're gonna kind of rip up here. Maybe not that hard, but we're gonna rip up a decent amount here. So who knows? It's hard to kind of determine. You know, we don't really trade off of feelings, so there's nothing like TA wise that I'm like, oh yeah, this looks like we're gonna rip up here. Yeah, there's not a whole lot like TA wise that says we're gonna go up, but still, you know, it seems like we're gonna go up. So who knows? Should be a breakdown day today, just based off TA. You know, obviously our system's calling it. You have a couple other indicators kind of telling you that it's going to go down. Maybe not the actual chart indicators, but indicators. Oh, excuse me. Indicators within the TA that we kind of looked at. Obviously, your macro trend is telling you that it's going to go down. So you have stuff lining up for you. It's just, you know, will it actually happen? Who knows? We'll just have to watch it. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us on Tuesday to check us out. We'll be back again tomorrow on Wednesday at 8:30. Ready to jump back into the charts, kind of see what's going on for tomorrow. See if there's anything we could possibly jump into or maybe take the trade. And I think we'll have a video coming out tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. We're cutting back a little bit on the videos, trying to do a little more like maybe 2 or 3 a week, kind of posting. We're thinking, well, there just wasn't a lot happening really in the market lately, for one, and then for two, we're trying to get more into more educational focused videos rather than just kind of, I guess, still technically educational focused, but you know, we were looking at kind of going over yesterday's price action, which, you know, after a day or so, it's kind of not useful. So we're trying to get more into the actually useful, you know, overall just education of, you know, pointing out different topics, and yes, technically using yesterday's price action, but mostly talking about the topics that we're going over. So yeah, we're trying to make our videos a little nicer, a little more focused, and doing less of them in the week. Make it a little easier on us, and then also make content a little better for y'all. So yeah, like I said though, thank you for joining. Again, we'll be live tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. CST. So if you guys are available or are willing to join, we'd love to see you here. Just make sure before you leave today, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification if you want to see more from us. But yeah, thanks for joining, and we will catch y'all next time. Happy trading, y'all.